If there is one thing that will help you rank up faster than anything else in Rocket League, it is by far your general understanding of the game. If you are able to look around the field at where all the other players are and where the ball is, and roughly be able to figure out where the play is likely to go next, you are simply going to be able to set yourself up for success. But if you're not able to do that, you will find yourself in a lot of awkward positions. So in today's video, we'll be discussing how you can improve this understanding of the game so that you yourself can always make the best decision available to you on the field. And real quick before we do get started, if any of you are interested in having one of your own replays analyzed, make sure you do check out my Discord, which will be linked down in the description, as I do offer free coaching through there. This is fine. Okay. So, I think with also your aversion to playing in the air, from what I saw, you also don't particularly like going on the walls. I think that's just because most of us associate walls with airplay. So, like, if we're not comfortable in the air, we just really don't touch the walls much. So, this is all fine. It's a little bit awkward that your teammate turns in front of you, but, you know, not the end of the world. I think you can move a little bit closer into the midfield a little quicker here, since your teammate has a completely free touch and the ball is clearly gonna work like either around the corner or like it's gonna be a really awkward touch in the corner from that guy, but we can still like linger into this area and then just wait to see what happens. So then that way when this all happens, we can be a little bit further over as opposed to, you know, just this much further back, because now we have more space to cover. Because that would also aid in this decision. I would just go for this ball. There is no reason to give up this space to your opponent. You don't have to go into the air with the ball. You can just drive up and smack it towards their backboard. But what I'm seeing here is this guy's pressuring out. This guy's sitting here at the near post. If you can like catch this ball around like here as it rolls up the wall and you just absolutely bang it towards the backboard around here, this guy's going to be super awkward. Your teammate can turn and now has a possible shooting opportunity. And you don't give up free space to your opponents. So in these kinds of situations where the ball is rolling up the wall, one of our players is racing to it and one of the opponents is racing to it, at this point, we just keep eyes on this guy. And we are just checking, like, are we going to win this race? And as long as the answer is either yes or possibly, but at least we'll get a decent 50-50, we want to go apply pressure to that ball so that they don't just have all the time in the world to do whatever it is they want. My general rule with like any kind of positioning is if the play looks awkward, I don't want to get too close. Because if I can't tell where it's going, I don't actually know where to put myself to be successful. So I think you're fine right about here. This is a good spot. I would not get too much closer unless you see your teammate leave. If he leaves, then you can go fill the space that he's left. But if he's still there, I don't want to put myself in the same spot as my teammate. I think the other thing that you miss here, and again, this is higher level because it would involve like not looking at the ball but looking at the opponent. You will know that your opponent can do a lot on this ball if you recognize that he's just grabbed that boost, which you can see in your perspective. It's just probably not something that you're really focusing on. But a lot of times the question we need to figure out, especially if the ball is going to end up in an awkward spot, is what exactly is our opponent capable of here? Like, are they capable of doing something with this ball? Or are they literally harmless because they have no resources to work with? So as you're sitting back here, since the ball is going over that way, I'm just eyeing that mid boost because I'm not doing anything on the ball. The ball is just sitting over there. I can just wait until I see what happens, but I want to know who gets that boost. And the second I see it disappear when my opponent's car drives over it, I'm like, okay, I need to give a little bit more space because he has plenty of boost to work with, and if I get too close, I'm just going to get beat. Which it kind of looks like you recognize that he's in an awkward spot, and then because of that, you move forward, but you didn't realize that he had full boost. So even though he was in an awkward spot, he's easily able to get back to the ball. But then when he's able to get back to the ball, you're now awkward with this play. And it's like, oh, no, this is not great. And yeah, so that's the kind of awareness we want to strive for. It's just being able to recognize, okay, here's the situation my opponent's in. Here's how I can now play off of it based on the fact that I know for a fact what position my opponent's in. So then in terms of like general positioning, assuming like you did recognize that he gets the boost, I would just wait here and I would probably even like turn back out this way because my teammate is still over there. So like I just want to give this space in case my teammate tries to cut back into the play. But then if I'm already over here, number one, I already have my net covered. But then number two, when he does this, I'm already here and can just turn. And yes, I'll be cutting off my teammate, but it's better that than them trying to play the ball in front of the net where the opponent is most likely waiting. And then we get a little bit boost hungry, I think. But yeah, like, you have 20 boost. It's, again, important to realize, like, you don't really have space here. This guy's right here. So we have to be able to see this, that he is literally right here. And we also have to know that our teammate's going to take forever to get back. So our job at this point is just to protect this ball to the best of our ability and make sure we don't just hand it for free to our opponents and just try to buy as much time as possible for our teammate to get back. So that we can reset ourselves defensively. So yeah, you kind of just need to recognize that, yeah, we do just need to stay on this ball and speed it up. It would obviously be great if we could get that boost. But if we can't, we have 20 boosts. That's enough to play the ball out, and that's all we really need to do in this position. But instead, you try to go for the boost, and then you lose not only the boost, but you also immediately lose the ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't get boost hungry. You normally don't need it. And it's normally you're better off just not getting it. And then we kind of have the same thing here because you're still on low. So now you just get even more greedy for it. So in a spot like this, again, we got to be aware of the situation we're in. So let's consider where the opponents are in this play. So we got Aura, who has just used almost everything and is landing in our net. Okay, cool. Then the other guy dives in. So that's, again, both of them have dove in into our half. Yeah. And now we have a free ball in the corner. As you are here, your teammate's literally right here. So he's clearly going to land in this area. And because he's currently in front of me, I'm going to assume that his plan is to grab this, unless he's going to stay directly on the ball. So rather than push out into the area that he is going to be in, because I recognize that this ball is totally free because both opponents are behind us, as we've already seen, we don't need this corner. We can leave that in case our teammate wants it, and we can just start to pick up pads. And then kind of wait to see what happens, and if the play starts to move downfield, we can then, like, grab this, there's pads in the midfield, there's pads all over the place. Then we could grab. And if teammate, like, has some kind of issue and we need to turn back, then we can just take the pads around, like, the area in front of net and be back behind to support. So just to kind of diagram this, I would just go out here, grab this. Okay, cool. I would go and grab this one then. And then, yeah, your teammate would have had a free ball and possibly already a shot on target if you hadn't created traffic in the corner unnecessarily. Yeah. So, yeah, just be aware of that. Also, I think you cut off your teammate here. Yeah, you absolutely do. So this is, again, this is awareness and just understanding, like, where people are. So one of them just grabbed the corner boost, although it's going to be really difficult to see that. But this ball going into the corner, none of the opponents are going to be here quickly. And if you want to be sure of that, you can do a quick rear view check. And yeah, you got some time. He's going to take a second. So when you get this touch, if you recognize that your teammate is in this back corner, just leave this ball for him. And the reason I say that is because it is significantly easier from this angle to come across the field and play this ball, as opposed to you driving in front of it and then having to cut back around to get a good touch. So it's okay to let the ball just kind of bounce if it's bouncing into a good spot for your teammate, because then they can pick it up easier than you can, and you're also not creating the situation where now both of us are in the same spot because he wasn't expecting you to cut the rotation. Be careful of these. You're kind of... Okay, so I have a really stupid name for these that has kind of come up recently in my brain. I call these the Donuts of Doom. Because you're just spinning in circles here in the midfield, doing nothing. And what this generally does, is, number one, it means that you aren't really focused exactly on where everybody is and, like, where the ball is most likely to go next. Because you're kind of just chasing where it is. So, like, initially you're like, okay, I'll turn into the midfield in case he misses. But then the ball goes past, and you're like, okay, now I gotta turn back this way. And now it's like, oh, wait, I'm beat, so now I gotta go back. And, like, it's just kind of a mess. And if this guy shot this ball, it's probably in your net. If you shot it well. So, I always say it's better to just maintain more spacing. Like, a little bit more space so that you can avoid doing those donuts unless, like, there's actually a reason to do so. So you take this kickoff, that's all well and good. I would just go grab this pad here as you see what's going on, and then, you know, just grab this. I would keep going this way, because if your teammate does hit the ball, then what we can do is we can grab this pad and then turn, grab this boost, and then move upfield. and we'll be good to go.
Okay.
If he misses the ball, as he does here, I know that there's 2 opponents in the midfield. I know I'm also on low boost, so there is 0 chance that I can turn and beat them to the ball with the amount of boost I have. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going and grab this pad here. And I'll just be over here. And now I'll be like, all right, they're going to turn. That's fine. I'll just wait, and I'll just kind of play shadow defense. Because if he tries to dribble, I have enough boost to make a play if I need to. If he just shoots it, I'm in a fine spot to go make the save. We're good. But instead, you're kind of just doing these circles in the midfield, kind of in like panic state because you don't know where the play's going.
Yeah.
And it makes things very, very awkward for you. I'll let this whole thing play out. This is another one where our positioning gets a little awkward. And I'll show you exactly why this is problematic as soon as this goal goes in, because, yeah, your teammate's not going to get back. So, what happens here is your teammate ends up going all the way back to the corner. Now, I do not believe that he should be going back to the corner, but the reason that he feels like he has to is because he thinks you're taking this boost. Like, he sees you here, so he tries to avoid you, but in doing so, he doesn't get this boost. Which then puts him in a spot where he feels like he needs to go to the corner, despite the fact that there's a gazillion pads in the midfield, but we've all been there where it's like, oh, okay, I'll just go to the other big boost, and that one gets taken. So, right here, I agree, don't challenge, because you're gonna be beat to this. There's absolutely no reason to do really anything. But rather than going towards the wall, the important thing to realize is that this ball's going to roll up. This guy's going to follow it up there. That's fairly obvious by what we can see here. I think you also realize that that is what's happening. The problem is the likelihood that the ball stays along the wall is basically 0 when somebody drives up with it. Because it's actually incredibly difficult to keep the ball along the wall unless you, like, catch it on the wall. They're probably just going to pop it out, which means that we don't want to be over here when the ball inevitably goes, like, over this way. So we also know we have a ton of boost, so we don't need the mid. So we can just kind of chill and just wait. And what I would do here is instead of going that way, I would again just kind of turn backwards and be ready to shadow this and just be chilling like here. And then when this happens, one, your teammate would immediately get that boost and would be able to rotate in behind you. And then you can honestly just turn and jump at this, because you'd just be sitting right here and you could turn. Because then what happens is you turn and jump, your teammate has full boost in behind you, so even if you get absolutely dusted to this ball in the air, you're still forcing Aura to do something with it, meaning that the ball more than likely just goes for free to your teammate if, you know, he does get a touch. But instead, you're super awkward underneath, your teammate has no boost going back, so he goes all the way to the corner instead of taking the small pads, but then because of that, no one's in position to defend the net, and it's just wide open. So yeah, that all comes down to the fact that you snuck towards the wall when you didn't need to, purely because you were like, the ball's going that way, so I will also go that way. So just be very careful to think about, okay, yeah, the ball's going that way right now, but in a second, it's going to do something else. What is that something else that it's going to do? And then position off of that, because that's where you're going to need to be. You don't need to be where the ball is now, you need to be where it's going to be. Be careful of this. This is just, lack of awareness as to where this player is. If you're going to go, you gotta go faster than this. Basically, it feels like you and this opponent are just playing a game of chicken, of like, who's gonna blink first, and you end up blinking first because you dive out of the play. So, you can also recognize and a lot of, the thing that a lot of players don't recognize in the moment when this happens, and to be fair, I also still have this issue, is this ball is pinching awkwardly off the wall. It's going towards your opponent. But what exactly is our opponent going to do with this ball? Not a whole lot, because it's bouncing really awkwardly off the sidewall, so they're having just as much trouble figuring out where this thing is going to go as we are. So if we just wait, like, we're going to do nothing but just sit and wait. Number one, if he does get a good touch, we can turn back and defend our net. That's fine. If he catches a dribble and dribbles, we can challenge that too. But when he does this, we can go, oh, okay, great, thanks. And now we're here. And now we have this challenge. When he inevitably just throws the ball away because people very much struggle to get controlled touches off of those bounces off the sidewall. Right here, though, again, be careful about how aggressively we're jumping for this as first man. Because what's going to happen here is we're just going to leave our teammate in a 1v1 situation. So, like, this is relatively fine because we're getting chased. I would not jump for this. I would just force this guy to do something, maybe get a bump on him. Because we also have to know, I don't think our teammate is in a spot to support us currently. He is not. So any touch that we get to the midfield, unless we can score it ourselves, is not going to do anything for us because we don't have teammate support. But when we dive forward like this, now our teammate's just left alone. And our opponents have approximately the entire field to work with because our teammate is all the way back there. So, should our teammate be all the way back there? Probably not. He probably should have been taking small pads up the field, to be fair. But, ideally, it's best to just take the safe play. So if you either know that he's all the way back or you don't know where he is, it's best to not just assume that, like, best case scenario is going to happen, because this could end very badly. As it almost does. Definitely not a spot we want to be leaving our teammate in if we can avoid it. And then you kind of do the same thing in terms of going all the way back when you could just turn on pads. This is a little bit more awkward because you're, like, already over here, but you absolutely could just go, like, here, here, and then back to the midfield. And then be up here a little bit earlier. So you're already here to support, instead of being back there. Because now when this happens, you have a possible shot opportunity here if you want it. Instead of being forced into this awkward spot where you kind of just have to turn back. Because again, if Aura shoots this well, very likely could be a goal if he shoots it hard enough. As you guys can see, simply improving your understanding of the game is one of the easiest ways to take your gameplay to the next level. So in your own games, really take the time to look around the field and take in the whole picture. The more you focus on understanding where the play is about to go, the easier it will be for you to position off of that information so that you can capitalize on all the opportunities that are available to you. Of course, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, once again, if you guys are interested in some one-on-one coaching of your own, or perhaps you just like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, feel free to check out my Discord, which is again linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.
Thank you.